Good morning. This is Mike Switzer with the South Carolina Business Review. You may have noticed many restaurants have closed during this severe economic recession, but how are caterers doing? They are sort of a behind-the-scenes food service type of business. Crawford Presley is a caterer and owner of Loosh Culinaire in Forest Acres, South Carolina, a Columbia suburb. Crawford, good morning.
Good morning.
Our listeners may be, first of all, intrigued by the name of your business, Loosh. If you could spell that and tell us where that came from.
It's Loosh, and it's actually a nickname for Lucius, which is my first name.
Well, talk about how you got into this business.
I was in the restaurant business for a long time, mainly as a necessity when I was in college. Got out of college and realized eventually that the restaurant business is not enjoyable, not to me anyway, and went into what I thought was the best alternative, which is catering. I was working at the Woodlands Resort in Summerville, South Carolina, working very long hours, learning a lot, but learning, I guess, more about myself, realizing that I couldn't live that way. So that was probably the most intense restaurant job I ever had.
And so did you go to chef school?
I went to Cordon Bleu in London, England, for a year and got the Grand Diplôme there.
What have been your challenges? How did you start building a clientele for your catering business?
That's actually been the biggest challenge. I suppose the same with any business is finding the clientele and trying not to compromise your reputation and what you think your reputation will or should be. As a result, I was hungry for a while. You go out, you do a good job, you put out nice food, and people see it, and it's a lot easier to show people than to tell them what you can do. So that's been the way that I've gotten my name out there.
And so from every job you've done, you end up getting more customers?
Yes, generally.
And so how did you get your very first few?
Gosh, I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I'm sure some of them were acquaintances, but it's tough to get somebody to give you a chance, especially when there's a lot of money at stake and their reputation's at stake. But it was a snowball effect, and let me tell you, it started out as a very, very small snowball.
Tell me how many years now you've been doing this on your own?
I think May would mark 7 years in business.
And how has the catering business been for you through this economic downturn?
It's been honestly terrible. I've been very fortunate leading up to this point. Business has grown probably in the neighborhood of around 20% every year. This past year was the first year that I saw negative growth. It was pretty significant. I was fortunate to pick up some consulting work. I was fortunate to cook for one of the golfers at the Masters. A couple of other things here and there have sort of supplemented my income, fortunately. But for the most part, it's been a tough year.
2010 looking any better?
It's looking fantastic. I hope it's an indication of the economy coming back. You never know what's around the corner, but thus far it's been spectacular.
Now, do professional caterers like yourself have a minimum job size or a minimum dollar of a job size that you will do?
Such as myself, not really. It just depends on what's going on. But in general, yes, a lot of people specialize in larger events. Some people specialize in smaller events. I cover the board.
Do you find yourself sometimes bidding on work against your competitors?
On occasion. Most of the things that I do are more specialized. At least I like to think that there's not as much competition in some of the areas of some of the things that I do. I prefer to do upper-end stuff. Everything is very creatively done. Everything is very original. I don't like taking other people's ideas. As I said earlier, I don't like following recipes. I don't follow recipes. I don't write anything down. So,
give us an example of a recent catering event.
I recently did actually a Moroccan-themed wedding for some clients, one of whom lived in Morocco for some time. They actually gave me almost complete creative free will. So,
did you already know some Moroccan recipes?
Not really, and that wasn't necessary. They wanted a little bit of Moroccan flair and not so much authenticity as much as they did flair. But we did some nice past hors d'oeuvres presented on spoons, for instance. Most of the food was very friendly to the cocktail atmosphere. It was very easy to pick up, very easy to eat. Everything was very dainty. Everything looked very nice.
What are some of the more memorable things that you enjoy the most about catering?
Honestly, I think in general the profession works for me because it's so sporadic at times, so fast-paced. It's never the same. The main thing about catering, I guess, that keeps me going is being able to please other people and showing people things that they're not familiar with, introducing them to new things.
Sounds like just being able to be creative.
Well, yeah, more or less.
Crawford, I know our listeners would like to learn a little bit more about this topic, and you must have a website.
It is under construction. However, I do have some information on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Loosh, LOOSH1, as in the number 1.
Crawford, thanks a lot for your time. Congratulations on everything so far. Good luck going forward.
Thank you very much.
Crawford Presley is owner of Loosh Culinaire, a catering company based in Forest Acres, South Carolina. With the South Carolina Business Review, this is Mike Switzer.